Admiral Taewan stood on the bridge of the Eternal Dawn and watched his world die. Through the main screen, he could see the last ships of his people floating in space like broken toys. Behind them, the star called Velthara Prime burned red and weak. It was old and tired, just like everything else in this forgotten corner of space. "Sir, we have the morning reports," said Commander So-min. She walked up to him with a data pad in her hands. Her blue skin looked pale under the bridge lights. Dark circles showed under her eyes. She had not slept well in weeks. None of them had. Taewan took the pad and read the numbers. 2 million Corvan people lived in the metal cities that orbited their dying star. They had food for maybe 6 more months. The power systems were failing. Worst of all, their fuel was almost gone. Without fuel, the ships could not move. Without movement, they were sitting targets. "How many ships do we have left?" Taewan asked. 43 warships, So-min said. "Most of them are damaged. The fighters are down to less than 200. We lost 12 more ships yesterday when the swarm attacked the outer ring." Taewan closed his eyes for a moment. A year ago, the Corvan Republic had controlled 12 star systems. They had thousands of ships and millions of soldiers. Their crystal technology was the pride of the galaxy. Now they had 43 broken ships and the will to fight. The swarm had taken everything else. "Sir, Dr. Hai Jin is here to see you," said Lieutenant Wu Jin from his station. The young officer's voice shook a little. Everyone was scared these days. "Send her up," Taewan said. Dr. Hai Jin entered the bridge a few minutes later. She was one of the smartest people Taewan knew. She studied alien life forms and had spent months trying to understand the enemy. Her silver hair was pulled back, tight, and her lab coat was stained with chemicals. She carried a small case with her. "Admiral, I need to show you something," she said. Her voice was quiet but urgent. "What is it, Doctor?" Hyejin opened her case and pulled out a small piece of black material. It looked like metal, but moved like it was alive. "This is from a swarm bioship we destroyed last week. I have been studying it in my lab." Taewan looked at the piece. It made his skin crawl. "What did you find?" "The swarm is not just eating our people," Hyejin said. "They are eating everything. Rocks, metal, air, water. They break down matter at the molecular level and use it to grow bigger. Each ship, each creature, becomes stronger after every meal." So-min stepped closer. "We knew they consumed organic matter. Are you saying they eat planets too?" "Yes," Hyejin said. "I found traces of 17 different worlds in this sample. The swarm has been moving across the galaxy for a very long time. They find a civilization, eat everything, then move on to the next one." Taewan felt sick. "How many civilizations have they destroyed?" "Based on the mineral traces, at least 17 that I can identify. Maybe more." Hyejin put the sample back in her case. "Admiral, we are not their first victims. We will not be their last." The bridge was quiet for a long moment. Everyone understood what this meant. The swarm was not just another enemy. They were a force of nature, like a storm. "That 8 worlds." "Sir, we have movement on long-range sensors," Wu Jin called out. His voice was higher now. Scared. Taewan moved to the sensor station. "What do you see?" "Hyperspace tiers, sir. Big ones. The computer counts. 312 contacts. All of them are huge. The main screen changed to show space near the edge of their system. Reality seemed to bend and twist as huge shapes pushed through from hyperspace. One by one, the swarm bioships appeared. Each one was the size of a small moon. Their black surfaces pulsed with sick light. They moved like living things, not machines. "How long until they reach us?" Taewan asked. Wu Jin's hands shook as he worked his controls. "At current speed, 72 hours, sir." Commander So-min spoke first. "We need to evacuate the civilian ships, get them out of the system." "Where?" Taewan asked. "Our fastest ships cannot outrun them. The swarm vessels are faster than anything we have ever built." "Then we fight," So-min said. Her voice was steady now. "We make our stand here." Dr. Hyejin shook her head. "Admiral, you do not understand. These creatures have eaten entire star systems. Our weapons barely scratch their bioarmor. They adapt to everything we throw at them. Then what do you suggest, Doctor? Taewon asked. Hyejin looked at the screen showing the approaching fleet. We pray for a miracle. Commander Jinho's voice came over the communication system. Admiral, the Civilian Council is requesting an emergency meeting. They want to know if we should try to negotiate with the swarm. Taewon almost laughed. It was not funny, but the idea was so impossible that his mind could not handle it any other way. Tell them there is nothing to negotiate. The swarm does not want our surrender. They want our atoms. Over the next few hours, reports came in from across the refugee fleet. Families were saying goodbye to each other. Children were asking why the adults looked so scared. The priests were holding prayer services in every ship. Some people wanted to fight. Others wanted to run. A few wanted to give up. Taewon called a meeting of all ship captains. They gathered in the Eternal Dawn's main conference room. 43 captains for 43 ships. It was all they had left. You all know our situation, Taewon began. The swarm will be here in less than 3 days. Our choices are simple. We can try to run and die tired. We can surrender and die slowly, or we can fight and die with honor. Captain Dong-hyun of the Crystal Blade spoke first. My ship is ready to fight, Admiral. My crew will not go quietly into the dark. One by one, the other captains agreed. They would make their stand at Velthara Prime. They would show the galaxy that the Corvan Republic died fighting. As the meeting ended, Taewon walked to his private quarters. He sat at his desk and wrote a message to his daughter, who had died when the swarm took their homeworld 6 months ago. He knew she could not read it, but it helped him think. My dear Su Young, he wrote, today we learned that help is not coming. The other civilizations are too far away or too scared to fight the swarm. We will make our last stand alone. I hope that somewhere in the great dark, your spirit can forgive us for failing to protect you and all the others. A soft knock came at his door. Come in, Taewon said. Commander So-min entered. Sir, the crew is asking about our battle plan. Taewon looked up from his message. Tell them the truth. We will hurt them as much as we can before they kill us. Maybe the next civilization will learn from our mistakes. And if there is no next civilization? So-min asked. Taewon stood up and walked to his window. Outside, he could see the refugee ships floating in formation. 2 million people who trusted him to keep them safe. 2 million people he was about to fail. Then at least we will die knowing. We tried, he said. As So-min left, Taewon looked back at his message. He added one more line. The stars are going dark, my daughter, but we will burn bright until the very end. In 72 hours, the swarm would arrive. The Corvan Republic would fight its last battle, and somewhere in the great empty space between stars, something impossible was already moving toward them. 57 hours had passed since the swarm fleet appeared at the edge of their system. Admiral Taewon had not slept in 2 days. He stood on the bridge of the Eternal Dawn and watched the enemy ships move closer. They were still 15 hours away, but already he could see them on the main screen. Dark shapes that hurt to look at. Commander So-min walked up to him with another report. Sir, all ships are in position. The civilian vessels are hiding behind Velthara Prime. Our combat ships are spread in a defensive line. Weapon status? Taewon asked. All crystal cannons are charged and ready. We have enough power for maybe 30 minutes of continuous fire. After that, we switch to backup weapons. Taewon nodded. 30 minutes to make their mark on history. It was not much, but it was what they had. Lieutenant Wu Jin suddenly sat up straight at his sensor station. Sir, I am getting strange readings from the outer asteroid belt. What kind of readings? So-min asked. Space is bending, sir. The sensors show gravity waves like nothing I have ever seen. It is like something huge is trying to push through reality itself. Taewon frowned. Show me. The main screen changed to show the asteroid belt near the edge of their system. At first, everything looked normal. Rocks floating in space, slowly turning as they orbited the dying star. Then the space around one large asteroid began to shimmer. Sir, the gravity readings are off the scale. Wu Jin said, his voice was shaking. Whatever is happening, it is using more energy than our entire fleet produces. Dr. Haijin's voice came over the communication system. Admiral, you need to see this. The energy patterns do not match anything in our databases. This is not swarm technology. Are you sure? Taewon asked. Positive. The swarm uses biological systems. This is something else. Something we have never seen before. On the screen, space continued to bend and twist. It looked like someone was tearing a hole in the universe. Reality rippled like water. Then slowly, something began to push through. It was a ship, but not like any ship the Corvins had ever built or seen. This vessel was huge, easily 3 kilometers long. Its hull was dark metal that seemed to absorb light. Strange symbols glowed along its sides. The design was sharp and angry, like it was built for war. Sir, the ship is broadcasting on multiple frequencies, Wu Jin reported. The computer is trying to translate. Put it through, Taewon ordered. Static filled the bridge speakers. Then slowly words began to form. The voice was deep and calm, speaking a language the computer had never heard before. But somehow the translation systems were working. This is Admiral Kyung-soo of the Terran Federation battleship Indomitable. We received your distress beacon across dimensional barriers. We are here to assist. The bridge fell silent. Everyone stared at the main screen. The massive ship hung in space like a sleeping giant. Its weapons were larger than most Corvin vessels. Its armor looked thick enough to stop anything. Terran Federation? So-min whispered. Admiral, we have no records of any species called Terrans. Our star charts do not show any worlds that could support such technology. Taewon's mind raced. Dr. Haijin, could this be some kind of swarm trick? Heejin's voice came back quickly. I do not think so, sir. The energy signatures are completely different. The swarm has never shown this kind of technology. They break through normal space, not whatever this is. Lieutenant Wu Jin looked up from his station. Sir, they are hailing us directly. They want to establish communications. Taewon took a deep breath. His people were about to die. What did they have to lose? Open a channel. The main screen changed to show the bridge of the alien ship. The being sitting in the command chair looked almost like a Corvin, but different. Taller, with darker skin and strange clothing. Behind him, other creatures worked at stations that seemed far more advanced than anything the Corvins possessed. I am Admiral Kyung-soo, the being said. His image was clear, and the translation was perfect. You are Admiral Taewon of the Corvin Republic? Yes, Taewon said slowly. How do you know my name? Your distress signal contained basic information about your fleet structure. We have been monitoring swarm movements across multiple dimensional layers. When we detected their attack on your system, we came as quickly as possible. Dimensional layers? So-min asked. What does that mean? Admiral Kyung-soo smiled. It was not a friendly smile. It was the smile of a predator. We travel through what you might call void space, the empty areas between dimensions. It allows us to cross vast distances quickly. Dr. Haijin's voice broke in from the laboratory. Admiral, I am scanning their ship now. Their technology is centuries ahead of ours. Their power output alone is greater than our entire fleet combined. We know about the swarm, Kyung-soo continued. We have fought creatures like them before. They are dangerous, yes, but they can be defeated. Taewon felt something he had not felt in months. Hope. You have fought them before? Similar species. Hive minds that consume civilizations. They all have the same weakness. They believe they are the perfect predators. Kyung-soo's smile grew wider. They have never met humans. Humans? Taewon asked. That is what we call ourselves. Our people come from a world called Earth. We have been fighting wars for thousands of years. We learned long ago that the universe does not respect the peaceful. Commander So-min leaned forward. How many ships do you have? Just one, Kyung-soo said. The Indomitable. But one human ship is often enough. Taewon felt his hope start to fade. One ship against 300 swarm vessels. Admiral, you do not understand humans yet, Kyung-soo said. We do not fight fair. We fight to win. On the sensor station, Woo-jin was working frantically. Sir, I am reading their weapon systems. They have, I do not even know what some of these are. Kinetic bombardment systems, plasma cannons, something called null space torpedoes. Request permission to come aboard your ship, Kyung-soo said. We need to coordinate our defense. The swarm will be here soon. Taewon looked around his bridge. His officers were staring at him, waiting for orders. These humans had appeared from nowhere with impossible technology. They claimed they could fight the swarm, but they were still just one ship. Permission granted, Taewon said finally. Bay 7 is open for your shuttle. We will be there in 20 minutes, Kyung-soo said. Admiral, I need you to understand something. We are here to help, but we fight by human rules. Some of your people may not like our methods. What kind of methods? So-min asked. Kyung-soo's expression grew serious. Effective ones. The communication ended. The main screen showed the Indomitable moving closer to their fleet. Up close, it was even more impressive. The ship moved with purpose, like a hunter stalking prey. Its weapons tracked constantly, as if it expected attack from any direction. Sir, a small craft is launching from their ship, Woo-jin reported. It is heading for our docking bay. Taewon turned to So-min. Assemble a security team. Full honors. But stay alert. Do you trust them? So-min asked quietly. Taewon looked at the swarm fleet on the edge of the screen. Still coming. Still deadly. I trust them more than I trust our chances alone. 20 minutes later, Taewon stood in docking bay 7 with a full honor guard. The human shuttle was unlike anything he had ever seen. It was small, but looked deadly. When the airlock opened, 5 humans stepped out. Admiral Kyung-soo was taller than most Corvins, with short dark hair and eyes that seemed to see everything. His uniform was black with strange symbols. Behind him came 4 others. A woman with sharp features who moved like a fighter, a man carrying scientific equipment, 2 soldiers with weapons that hummed with energy. Admiral Taewon, Kyung-soo said, extending his hand. Thank you for allowing us aboard. Taewon took the offered hand. The human's grip was firm and warm. Thank you for coming. Though I have to ask, how did you know we needed help? We monitor many things, Kyung-soo said. The swarm is a threat to all civilized life. When they move, we pay attention. The woman stepped forward. I am Commander Da-un, Tactical Officer. We need to see your defensive plans immediately. Of course, Taewon said. Follow me to the war room. As they walked through the corridors of the Eternal Dawn, Taewon noticed something about the humans. They moved with confidence, like they had never lost a battle. Their weapons were always ready. Their eyes missed nothing. Admiral, Kyung-soo said as they walked. Before we begin planning, I need to ask you something. Are your people prepared to do whatever it takes to survive? What do you mean? Kyung-soo stopped walking and looked directly at him. I mean, are you prepared to become killers? Because that is what it takes to defeat the swarm. You cannot negotiate with them. You cannot reason with them. You can only kill them before they kill you. Taewon thought about his daughter, about his people dying in space, about 2 million civilians who trusted him to protect them. Yes, he said. We are ready. Kyung-soo smiled again. This time, it was not the smile of a predator. It was the smile of someone who understood. Good, the human said. Then let us begin. The war room on the Eternal Dawn had never seen anything like this meeting. Admiral Taewon sat at the head of the table with his senior officers. Across from them sat the humans, looking relaxed despite the approaching doom. Their leader, Admiral Kyung-soo, spread strange devices across the table that projected images in the air. These are the swarm bioships, Commander Da-un said, pointing at the holographic displays. The images showed massive creatures that looked more alive than built. We have fought similar species before. The devourers of Kepler 442. The flesh. Eaters of the Vega system. All hive minds, all defeated. Commander So-min leaned forward. How many ships did you lose in those battles? Da-Yun exchanged a look with Admiral Kyung-Soo. The Kepler battle cost us 12 ships and 4,000 crew members. The Vega conflict was worse. 30 ships, 10,000 dead. The Corvin officers gasped. Those were huge losses, but the humans spoke about them like they were just numbers. You seem very calm about losing so many people, Dr. Hai-Jin said. Admiral Kyung-Soo nodded slowly. Doctor, humans learned long ago that freedom is not free. Every victory costs blood. The question is whether you are willing to pay that price. Lieutenant Wu Jin looked confused. But surely there are other ways to fight. Ways that do not cost so many lives. Show them the Corvin battle records, Kyung-Soo said to Da-Un. The holographic display changed. Now it showed recordings from previous Corvin battles against the swarm. Their crystal weapons carved bright lines across space, barely scratching the bioships. Corvin fighters danced around the huge creatures, firing constantly but doing little damage. Your tactics are brave, Da-Yun said, but they are designed to minimize casualties, not to win. You try to fight clean. The swarm does not fight clean. Dr. Chang Min, the human scientist, opened his own equipment. Dr. Hai-Jin, may I see your swarm samples? Hai-Jin hesitated, then brought out her collection of biomatter. Chang Min examined it with instruments the Corvins had never seen. His scanner made strange noises and showed readings that seemed impossible. Interesting, Chang Min said after a few minutes. The cellular structure is adaptive, but it follows predictable patterns. Every hive mind species does. What kind of patterns? Hai-Jin asked. Chang Min smiled. Weakness patterns. You have been studying how the swarm works. We study how to kill them. He activated another device. The holographic display now showed a swarm bioship, but different than before. This one was marked with red spots all over its surface. Every biological system has critical points, Chang Min explained. Areas where damage causes maximum destruction. Your people aim for the center mass. We aim for the places that hurt most. Commander So-min looked uncomfortable. That seems cruel. War is cruel, Admiral Kyung-Soo said simply. The choice is not between cruel and kind. The choice is between winning and dying. Da-Yun activated another display. This one showed human weapons. These are null space torpedoes. They do not just destroy matter. They make it stop existing. When they hit a swarm bioship, they leave a perfect sphere of nothing. That is impossible, Wu Jin said. No, Da-Un replied. Just very expensive. Each torpedo costs as much as one of your smaller ships. And these are plasma cannons, she continued, showing another weapon. They do not just burn through armor. They superheat organic matter until it explodes from the inside. Taewon studied the weapons displays. The humans had tools of war that seemed designed not just to kill but to terrify. Why make weapons so extreme? Because fear is a weapon too, Kyung-Soo said. When we fight a hive mind, we are not just fighting their ships. We are fighting their confidence, make them afraid, and they make mistakes. Dr. Chang Min pulled up another display. But the most important discovery we made is this. All hive minds use quantum entanglement to communicate across space. Break that connection, and individual creatures become confused. How do you break quantum entanglement? Dr. Hai-Jin asked. Chang Min smiled. It was not a nice smile. Very carefully, and with a lot of explosions. Over the next few hours, the humans explained their way of fighting. It was unlike anything the Corvins had ever imagined. Where the Corvins used formation flying and coordinated attacks, humans used something called chaos tactics. They would attack from unexpected directions, retreat when the enemy expected them to advance, and strike at targets that seemed unimportant. The key is to make the enemy react to you, Da-Un explained. Never let them fight the battle they want to fight. Always force them to fight your battle. What if they are stronger than you? So-min asked. Then you make strength a weakness, Kyung-Soo said. Big ships cannot turn quickly. Large formations cannot change direction fast. The swarm size is their advantage, but it is also their weakness. Lieutenant, Commander Yunwu, one of the human officers, spoke for the first time. We will need to board some of their ships. The Corvin officers looked shocked. Board them? Taewan asked. You want to go inside swarm bioships? It is the only way to plant the quantum disruptor devices, Yunwu explained. Someone has to get inside their command ships and break their connection to the hive mind. That is suicide, So-min said. Yunwu shrugged. Maybe. But someone has to do it. I will go, Commander Jinho said suddenly. Everyone turned to look at him. He had been quiet during the meeting, but now his face was determined. I have lost everything to the swarm. My family, my homeworld, my people. If there is a chance to hurt them, I will take it. You are not trained for this kind of operation, Yunwu said gently. Then train me, Jinho replied. How long do we have? Admiral Kyung-soo checked a device on his wrist. The swarm fleet will arrive in 14 hours. We can give you basic training, but it will not be enough. It will have to be enough, Jinho said. Dr. Chang-min pulled up one more display. This one showed the approaching swarm fleet, but now it was marked with human tactical symbols. Red areas marked priority targets. Blue lines showed attack routes. Green dots showed retreat positions. This is our battle plan, Chang-min said. We let them come to us. When they get close, we hit their communication ships first, then we board the command vessels and plant the disruptors. After that, we kill everything that moves. What about our civilian ships? Taewan asked. They stay hidden behind the planet, Kyung-soo said. If we fail, they run. At least some of your people might escape. And if we succeed? Kyung-soo's expression grew hard. If we succeed, we hunt down every swarm ship in this galaxy. We make sure they never threaten anyone again. Commander So-min looked at the battle plan. This is very different from how we usually fight. Yes, Da-yoon said. Your way of fighting is honorable. Our way of fighting wins. Can you teach us? Taewan asked. Some of it, Kyung-soo said. But not in 14 hours. This will mostly be a human operation. Your ships will provide support. That does not seem fair, Woo-jin said. Admiral Kyung-soo stood up. Fairness is a luxury for peacetime. Right now we need results. As the meeting ended, the humans began preparing their ship for battle. Taewan watched them work through the viewports. They moved with purpose and efficiency. Every action had meaning. Every movement was planned. Dr. Hyejin approached him. Admiral, are we doing the right thing? These humans, they are very violent. Taewan thought about the question. The humans were violent. They talked about death and destruction like other people talked about the weather. Their weapons were designed to cause maximum pain and fear, but they were also here. When everyone else had abandoned the Corvins to die, the humans had come. They had traveled across impossible distances to help people they had never met. Doctor, Taewan said finally, I do not know if they are good people, but right now they are our people. On the main screen, the swarm fleet continued its approach. 300 bioships that had destroyed 17 civilizations. Soon, they would arrive at Velthara Prime. They expected to find another helpless victim. Instead, they would find humans. Commander So-min joined Taewan at the viewport. Sir, do you think we can win? Taewan watched the Indomitable move into position. The human ship looked tiny compared to the approaching swarm fleet. But there was something about the way it moved. Something confident and deadly. Ask me again in 14 hours, he said. In the distance, space began to flicker as the swarm prepared to attack. The final battle for the Corvin people was about to begin. But for the first time in months, Admiral Taewan believed they might survive it. The swarm arrived exactly when the computers predicted they would. Admiral Taewan watched from the bridge of the Eternal Dawn as space twisted and 300 bioships dropped out of hyperspace. They moved in perfect formation, like a school of deadly fish swimming through the dark. All ships, this is Admiral Taewan. He spoke into his communication device. Battle stations. Remember what we learned from our human allies. Today we fight not just to die with honor, but to live with victory. The swarm bioships were even more terrifying up close. Each one pulsed with sick light, their organic hulls breathing like living creatures. They had no visible weapons, because they were weapons. Living ships designed for one purpose, consuming everything in their path. Commander So-min stood at her tactical station, watching the enemy approach. "Sir, they are moving in standard swarm formation. They will spread out and try to surround us. Let them," Taewon said. "Human tactics, remember? We want them to come to us." On the communication channel, Admiral Kyung-soo's voice was calm and steady. "All Corvin ships, hold position. Do not fire until I give the order. Let them get close." Lieutenant Wu Jin looked nervous at his sensor station. "Sir, the swarm ships are launching smaller creatures. Thousands of them." The main screen showed clouds of smaller bioforms pouring out of the large ships. They looked like insects, but each one was the size of a fighter craft. They moved fast and changed direction constantly, making them hard to target. "Standard swarm tactics," came Commander Da-Yun's voice from the Indomitable. "They send the small ones first to test our defenses." The Corvin ships opened fire with their crystal cannons. Bright blue beams lanced across space, destroying dozens of the smaller creatures. But for every one they killed, 10 more took its place. "Sir, they are almost in range of our main fleet," So-min reported. "All ships prepare to retreat," Taewon ordered. "Pattern Alpha, just like the humans taught us." The Corvin fleet began to pull back, exactly as they had practiced. To the swarm, it would look like the defenders were running scared. In reality, they were setting a trap. The Indomitable had not fired a single shot yet. The massive human ship sat motionless in space, apparently doing nothing. But Taewon knew better. The humans were waiting for the perfect moment. "Swarm bioships are accelerating," Wu Jin reported. "They think we are running." "Good," Kyung-soo's voice said. "Let them think that. All units prepare for Pattern Alpha execution." The swarm ships moved faster, eager to catch their fleeing prey. The smaller creatures formed a cloud around the main fleet, ready to swarm over the Corvin ships. They had done this dance thousands of times before. It always ended the same way. "Now," Admiral Kyung-soo said quietly. The Indomitable came alive. The human ship had been hiding its true power. Now it unleashed weapons that defied everything the Corvins thought they knew about war. Null space torpedoes shot out like silver darts, each one creating a perfect sphere of nothing where it hit. Swarm bioships simply ceased to exist, leaving holes in space that hurt to look at. Plasma cannons fired next. They did not just burn through the organic armor of the bioships. They superheated the living tissue until entire sections exploded from within. Creatures that had never known fear suddenly screamed across all frequencies. But the most terrifying weapon was something the humans called boarding pods. Small craft shot out from the Indomitable and attached themselves to swarm bioships like parasites. Then human soldiers cut their way inside. Commander Yuri led the first boarding team. Taewon could hear her voice over the communication channel as she fought inside a swarm command ship. "Contact. Multiple hostiles in the main corridor, engaging with plasma rifles." The sounds of combat echoed through space. Human weapons fired, with sharp cracks. Swarm creatures made wet, horrible noises as they died. But what shocked Taewon most was how the humans fought. They were not just trying to disable the ship. They were hunting, moving through the corridors like predators, killing everything they found. The swarm creatures, for the first time in their existence, were the prey. "Boarding Team 2, report," came another voice. "We have reached the neural center," Lieutenant Commander Yunwoo replied. "Planting the quantum disruptor now." On the main screen, Taewon watched one of the largest bioships suddenly stop moving. Its lights flickered and went out. The smaller creatures around it began flying in confused circles. "Direct hit on their hive connection," Dr. Chang Min's voice reported. "That ship is cut off from the network." But the swarm was learning. The remaining bioships began to change their tactics. Instead of charging forward in formation, they spread out and attacked from multiple directions. They are adapting faster than expected. Commander Daun warned. All ships, prepare for pattern. Beta. The Corvin fleet, which had been retreating, suddenly turned and charged straight at the enemy. But they were not attacking the main bioships. Instead, they targeted the communication vessels, just like the humans had taught them. Commander Jin Ho led a squadron of Corvin fighters in a desperate assault on a swarm nerve ship. These smaller biovessels coordinated the attacks of larger ships. Destroying them would confuse the enemy. This is Jin Ho, his voice came over the radio. Beginning attack run on target 7. Taewan watched as Jin Ho's fighter dove toward the nerve ship, dodging streams of acid that the creature spat at him. His crystal cannons fired continuously, carving deep wounds in the bioship's hull. Hull breach confirmed, Jin Ho reported. Going in, the fighter disappeared inside the enemy ship. For long minutes there was only silence. Then Jin Ho's voice came back, strained but alive. Charges planted. All ships, clear the area. The nerve ship exploded from within. Without its coordination, an entire section of the swarm fleet began attacking each other by mistake. Excellent work, Admiral Kyung-soo said. All units, focus fire on confused targets. The battle was turning. The swarm's perfect coordination was breaking down. Ships that had moved like parts of a single organism now fought as individuals. And as individuals, they were vulnerable. But the fight was far from over. The swarm still had over 200 ships, and they were learning from each mistake. The larger bioships began to cluster together, protecting each other from boarding attempts. Sir, they are forming a defensive sphere, So Min reported. Our boarding pods cannot penetrate that formation. Then we break the formation, Kyung-soo replied. All ships, prepare for the final assault. What happened next would be remembered in military schools for centuries. The Indomitable did not attack the swarm formation. Instead, it flew straight at Velthara Prime, the dying star at the center of their system. What are they doing? Wu Jin asked. Dr. Chang Min's voice provided the answer. We are going to destabilize the star. The human ship fired a series of null space torpedoes directly into the red giant's surface. The star, already old and unstable, began to react violently. Solar flares erupted from its surface, sending waves of radiation and charged particles across the system. All ships, emergency shield configuration, Taewan ordered. Prepare for solar storm. The Corvin ships had shields designed to handle their star's normal radiation. The swarm bioships did not. They had evolved to fight in the cold of space, not in the hell of a solar storm. As the radiation wave hit, swarm ships began to convulse and die. Their organic armor, which could stop any weapon, was helpless against pure stellar radiation. Creatures that had conquered 17 civilizations screamed as they burned. Now! Admiral Kyung-soo shouted. All ships attack while they are blind. The combined human Corvin fleet struck like a hammer. Swarm ships, already weakened by radiation, fell quickly to concentrated fire. The perfect formation collapsed into chaos. Commander Yuri's voice came over the radio again. Multiple bioships disabled. Boarding teams report successful neural center captures. Lieutenant Commander Yun Woo added his report. Quantum disruptors active on 7 command ships. The hive network is fragmenting. But even as victory seemed close, the swarm had one last surprise. The largest bioship, something the size of a small moon, began to glow with energy. It was preparing to self-destruct and take half the system with it. All ships, emergency retreat, Admiral Kyung-soo ordered. That thing is going to explode like a star. The fleet raced away from the dying bioship as it built toward catastrophic failure. But they were not going to make it. The explosion would catch them all. That was when Commander Jin Ho made his choice. This is Jin Ho. His voice said calmly. I am going back. Negative, Taewan said immediately. You will not reach minimum safe distance. I am not trying to reach safe distance, Jin Ho replied. I'm going to ram it. His damaged fighter turned around and accelerated toward the dying bioship. He had armed all his remaining weapons and set his reactor to overload. It would not be enough to destroy the massive creature, but it might disrupt its self-destruct. Sequence. Jinho, do not do this, So-min pleaded over the radio. Tell my children that their father died killing monsters, Jinho said. This is for Su-young, this is for all of them. His fighter disappeared into the bioship's hull just as the explosion began. Instead of a catastrophic blast that would destroy the system, the explosion was contained. The bioship died, but the fleet survived. 3 months after the Battle of Velthara Prime, Admiral Taewon stood in what used to be a refugee camp and watched his people build new homes. The orbital habitats that had once housed desperate families now hummed with construction projects. Children played in gardens that grew under artificial suns. The fear was gone from their eyes, but the galaxy around them had changed forever. Admiral, we have a communication from the Terran Federation, Commander So-min reported. She looked different now, harder. The battle had changed all of them. Put Admiral Kyung-soo through, Taiwan said. The holographic image of the human commander appeared in the air. Behind him, Taewon could see the bridge of the Indomitable. The ship was scarred from battle but still deadly. Admiral Taewon, Kyung-soo said with a smile. I have good news. The Joint Task Force has eliminated another swarm nest. The creatures that were threatening the Zelkan system are gone. How many ships did we lose? Taewon asked. 2 Corvin cruisers and 1 human destroyer, Kyung-soo replied. But we saved 6 million Zelkan civilians. The price was acceptable. Taewon nodded. 3 months ago, the loss of 2 ships would have devastated him. Now he understood that some prices had to be paid. The humans had taught the Corvins many things, but this lesson had been the hardest to learn. The Terran Federation Council has made a decision about your people, Kyung-soo continued. We are offering full membership to the Corvin Republic. You would have access to all our technology, including void space travel. What would you want in return? So-min asked. Your crystal technology, Kyung-soo said, and your commitment to help protect other civilizations. The galaxy is full of threats like the swarm. We need allies who understand what it takes to fight them. Dr. Hyojin, who had been listening quietly, stepped forward. Admiral, we have been working with Dr. Changmin on something new. An early warning system that can detect swarm movements across multiple dimensions. Show him, Taewon said. Hyojin activated a device that projected a map of the local galaxy. Red dots marked known swarm locations. Blue lines showed patrol routes for joint human-Corvin fleets. We can detect their biosignatures from 20 light-years away, Hyojin explained. When they move to attack a new system, we will know within hours. Impressive, Kyung-soo said. But detection is only the first step. We need rapid response teams that can reach threatened systems quickly. That is where our partnership becomes valuable, Taewon said. Human void space technology for fast travel, Corvin crystal weapons for precision strikes. Together we can stop threats before they grow too large. Over the following weeks, representatives from both civilizations worked to formalize their alliance. The humans brought technology that seemed like magic. Ships that could cross the galaxy in days. Weapons that could crack moons. Manufacturing systems that could build entire fleets in months. The Corvins contributed their own advantages. Crystal technology that could focus energy with perfect precision. Navigation systems that could plot courses through the most dangerous regions of space. And something the humans valued highly. A moral compass that kept them from becoming the monsters they fought. Dr. Changmin visited Velthara Prime to establish a joint research facility. He worked with Dr. Hyojin to develop new weapons specifically designed to counter biological threats. The key is understanding how these creatures think, Changmin explained to a group of young Corvin scientists. Hive minds seem unified, but they are actually very fragile. Break the right connections and the entire network collapses. Like what happened during the battle, one student asked. Exactly. But we can do better. Instead of disrupting their network, we can corrupt it, make them attack each other, turn their greatest strength into their greatest weakness. Meanwhile, Admiral Kyung-soo worked with Commander So-min to train new generations of Corvin warriors. The training was harsh, much harder than traditional Corvin military education. War is not about being brave, Kyung-soo told a class of young officers. Bravery is common. War is about being effective. A dead hero saves no one. But what about honor? One young Corvan asked. Honor is important, Kyung-soo replied. But honor without victory is just a beautiful way to die. Your people cannot afford beautiful deaths anymore. Commander Jinho's sacrifice had become a symbol for the new Corvan military. Not because he died, but because his death achieved something important. Training centers across their space bore his name, reminding students that sometimes the greatest victories required the greatest sacrifices. The changes were not easy for everyone. Some older Corvans struggled with their people's new direction. The weapons they built now were designed to cause fear as well as destruction. Their tactics emphasized winning over looking good. We are becoming too much like the humans, complained Captain Dong-hyun during one council meeting. We are losing. What made us Corvan? What made us Corvan was our kindness, Admiral Taewon replied. But kindness without strength is just weakness. The humans are teaching us to be kind with claws. The proof of their success came when the Vegan crisis began. A new threat emerged from the galactic core, mechanical beings that consumed technology instead of biological matter. They attacked the Vegan Commonwealth, stripping away their ships and cities to build more of themselves. The Joint Human Corvan Task Force responded within 6 hours of the first distress call. This is Admiral Somin of the KRS Crystal Storm, came the transmission from the lead Corvan ship. Somin had been promoted after showing exceptional skill in combining human tactics with Corvan precision. We have 15 ships in formation, she continued. Human void space carriers and Corvan strike cruisers, ready for immediate engagement. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Human ships used void space jumps to appear inside enemy formations. Corvan crystal weapons cut through mechanical armor with surgical precision. The mechanical beings, programmed to fight biological threats, could not adapt to this new style of warfare. Within 12 hours, the mechanical invasion was defeated. The Vegan Commonwealth was saved, and word spread across the galaxy. There were new protectors in space. But perhaps the most important change was not in how the Alliance fought wars. It was in how they prevented them. Lieutenant Commander Yun-woo, now leading a joint intelligence unit, established monitoring stations throughout the local galactic arm. These stations watched for signs of emerging threats and dispatched diplomatic teams to solve problems before they required military action. The best battle is the one you never have to fight, Yun-woo explained to his mixed human Corvan teams. But if you do have to fight, make sure you win completely. This philosophy guided the Alliance's approach to the Stellar Compact, a group of civilizations that was showing aggressive tendencies toward their neighbors. Instead of waiting for them to attack someone, the Alliance sent negotiators backed by the implicit threat of their combined fleets. The message was clear: work with your neighbors peacefully or face the consequences. Most chose to work peacefully. As Taiwan stood in his new office aboard the Joint Command Station orbiting Velthura Prime, he reflected on how much had changed. Through the viewports, he could see human and Corvan ships training together. Young officers from both species worked side by side, learning each other's strengths. Dr. Haijin entered with her daily report. Admiral, we have detected 3 new swarm movements in distant sectors. Task forces are being dispatched. Any civilizations at risk? Taewon asked. The hegemony of Shrix is under immediate threat, but our response teams should reach them in time. Taewon nodded. 6 months ago, the hegemony of Shrix would have faced the swarm alone and died. Now they had allies who could cross the galaxy in hours to help them. Any word from the outer patrols? He asked. Commander Yuri reports that the former swarm territory is clear. The bioships that escaped our initial battles have not been seen again. We believe they have retreated to the galactic rim. Good. Let them hide. Let them remember what happens when they try to consume peaceful civilizations. As the day ended, Taewon walked to the memorial section of the station. Here names were carved into crystal walls. Jinho's name was among them, along with thousands of others who had died fighting for freedom. But there were also names from dozens of species, humans who had died protecting worlds they had never seen, Corvans who had given their lives for allies they barely knew, others from civilizations across the galaxy who had joined the Alliance. Admiral Kyung-soo found him there. "Thinking about the cost?" the human asked. "Always," Taewon replied, "but also thinking about what we bought with that cost." "And what did we buy?" Taewon gestured toward the viewport, where ships from a dozen species moved in formation. "We bought a galaxy where children do not have to ask why the adults look scared. We bought a future where civilizations can grow and explore without fear of monsters in the dark." "That is a good purchase," Kyung-soo said, "though expensive." "Freedom always is," Taewon replied, using the human phrase that had become popular among Corvin officers. As they watched, a new group of ships arrived through void space. These were from the hegemony of Shrix, bringing refugees from the swarm attack that had been stopped just in time. The rescue ships were met by medical vessels and supply craft, all working together to help people they had never met.